continuing on, I think we have. I mean, this was the more popular, or not popular, the more infamous one of the Gohan series. But what Nier forgot to mention is that there is another Gohan series
Yeah,
produced
there's
series.
two of them. There's two of them.
Double
Oh,
view for your viewing
not
pleasure.
Let me
not
rephrase that.
only are
Let me
there
rephrase
two of
that.
them.
There's
Yeah.
three. There's three.
What?
And you'll because my series also has a connection to Gohan's.
Oh
Oh
no.
shit!
It does.
Oh shit!
Oh
Oh yeah.
fuck
Okay,
me.
good call.
All right. Well.
But yeah, there's the second one that's related. I won't say it's just the two, but there's a second one, and that's the one that Dark is going to cover. What do you have for us here?
I am covering Dekyudu Neko wa Kyomo Yutsu, which is the Masterful Cat is depressed again today. Now, also, its title really doesn't capture what the series really is. It's more so of just to get the premise down and out of the way. It's seems to be pretty episodic. It's a office woman. She leaves for work every morning. She works for like the standard. I don't know if it's supposed to be like a true like black company, but it is that sort of like, she's doing like grunt office work, like everyone's filing their spreadsheets and shit. Um, but the catch is she has a big cat. He is a giant cat who does her house chores and cooks, cleans, and loves doing it. And he is a regular cat in that he does not speak. And that would be Yukichi.
Which is my biggest complaint from this series.
It's also my biggest complaint for the series. So he is a regular cat in the sense of, like he is a big cat. He does not speak, but he does have like, human level intelligence, obviously. And a lot of his voice comes through, voiced by Hiroki Yasumoto. His voice comes
Oh,
through
wait, is he the
by,
cat?
Yes,
yes.
he is the cat.
Oh,
It is
this.
And his
Never
voice
mind.
comes
This
through
series
his
is really
narrator.
good.
Amazing casting, by the way. Just incredible casting.
Never mind. This series is like
Yeah.
a automatic an 8 out of 10
But
plus for me.
the annoying part to me is more so that it's like
Huh.
they only give him like a full voice when he
Evolves.
what's it called? No. When like
Whatever.
when he's narrating and stuff like that. And he'll
Oh,
like do
okay.
he'll do small narrations or like describe something that the protagonist is doing.
Like a voiceover kind of thing. Yeah, exactly.
Saku Fukuzawa. Yeah, it's like what do you call that when they have like the text come in the text box and then he'll essentially like read it off? Like like she'll be drinking or something and he'll have like a text box come up to like, oh, she drank too much today or something like that, and he'll actually narrate that. And so like that is my biggest gripe, is that I do wish that he like had a more of a speaking role, or at least like more narration and monologuing, just more lines, more or less. But overall, that's pretty fun. That's kind of the basic premise, She leaves, goes to work, comes back. He has like dinner prepared, her lunch for the next day. There's a lot of shenanigans between the two of, the stuff you'd expect, where he gets mad or like depressed when she has to stay late, and the dinner he made gets cold, and stuff like that. As far as the fantastical element of him being a big cat, so far, that hasn't really been explained in the sense. It's just literally
just a
she
big
brought him
cat.
home. Yeah, she just brought him home one day when he was a tiny cat, like a kitten, and then he just kept growing. So they kind of just like brisk past that. There is an elder. I think the expanded cast is gonna wind up finding out about him and like essentially like accepting this as like a reality, because there is an elderly woman who knows about him and like sees him bringing out the laundry and the trash, and he helps her bring out the trash and stuff like that. So there is some really interesting moments with that. There is an interesting moment with that. I think there's a lot of opportunity there to have like a more like Sort of like a subversion of expectations of having this sort of fantastical character interact with people, but it being a more like a more, like they've already adjusted to this like situation type thing. And maybe avoid the initial panic reaction that you would expect from a series like this that then plays that off. I think at least not being introduced to that initially was quite nice with like an expanded cast character. You would expect the character that knows about him or finds out about him to, get a pretty stereotypical scene of them, like hitting the floor and like crawling backwards or something and being like, "Wow, what is this? This is so crazy." So I thought that was pretty nice. Now, to get into the meat and potatoes of this, like we said, this is
Are there meat and
series.
potatoes of this?
There's too many. Some
There's
might
too
say.
many.
Some might say there's meat,
there's a
potatoes,
few.
and there's a mountain of garnish. And that mountain of garnish is almost identical to what we discussed. The funny thing is, too, even timing wise, the first 4 or 5 minutes of this series is a fucking absolute visual mess. Again, as we said before, there are bird's eye view shots, there's bird's eye view shots into worm eye view shots, into
there's a little
fisheye
bit less
shots.
of it in this. Like the framing
It's a little
and
less
like angling,
insane,
yeah, is a little bit less
but
crazy than
it
Tsukimega.
lasts longer.
But yeah, it's a little bit longer, and this show is definitely more of like a CGI hellscape in the beginning.
Yeah. So
Tsukimega is.
I was not able to grab a screenshot of this or find a GIF of it, but for some reason, this series decides to open with a like weird sky action shot of a fucking helicopter in the morning over the city, and that flies by, and then it goes to like the bird's eye view shot of people walking to work, and then it cuts to like the protagonist waking up, and then we get like this morning series of events where there's one
like
in
make an omelet or
particular
whatever?
where it yeah, but it burns it transitions from the worm eye view like walking scene like from Tsukimega to a like weird to like a regular scene of people walking to like a weird extreme fisheye of people getting on a train
There's a lot
like
of fisheye
in the
the
morning,
opening
and
of
then a fisheye shot inside the train, and then like a fisheye shot of them exiting the train and going down an escalator, and then a like weird another worm eye shot from like behind a railing of people walking down the street again. And then there's also someone like the main male like this main male character.
I think he's like the boss, right? Like
Orizuka Kaoru. He's like a manager or something. He's like a slight
Yeah.
higher up, very very handsome man. Who's gonna be like a main support character, judging from his interactions and also the like cover art. It's just a shot of him driving along a bridge in an extremely fucked up CG Audi R8. I don't know
pure
why.
chrome. Pure
Yeah,
chrome,
like
by the way. Like,
chromed out, chrome the fuck out Audi R8. I mean, I think the Audi R8's fucking cool. Don't get me wrong, one of my favorite cars. But they decided to do like a weird like 360 fucking pan shot that ends on like him driving by with it like focused on him on the window of his car. It's like a side shot
What?
it ends on as he's like pulling away while like on like a Bluetooth
What?
call or some shit. Yeah, it's fucked up. You again, tonal directing out the fucking window, because as I described the premise of this series, this is a very cozy slice of life comedy series. It's very very cozy. And it has a lot of like cartoony shots of the cat, a lot of
I mean,
cartoony
the
reaction shots.
pacing
the
of
cat.
this show is almost like, I don't know what format the original manga takes, but it almost feels like a 4 or something. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like the
Isn't it
skits.
supposed to be a yonkoma, or like is this
I
supposed
don't
to
I don't
not
know
be
because the
like
skits are very short.
This was a web manga,
it's not
so
even
that's
supposed to
probably
have
why.
pacing,
Like
right?
it is.
Yeah,
Like, that's
so
the thing.
the skits are very short and they're completely disjointed, right? So this is
Okay,
pure
okay.
episodic,
Yeah,
as
okay,
far
that's
as I
what it's
can
supposed
tell.
to be, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But the
I
first
think
like
there's going to be like
5
some
minutes,
carry through with like the supporting cast, but the first 5 minutes is
the
not
first
for
5
like a
minutes of
comedy
this
4 series.
show of the
For like a
of this
fucking
first
mystery.
episode, it's like it's something you would expect to see out of like a
Like a
gritty
crime
like
drama.
corporate mystery series. Like it's
Oh
all
yeah,
like
like
panoramic,
some weird
like
My
scenery
Home Hero,
shots.
like
Yeah, with like
yeah.
cars and like CEOs talking on Bluetooth speakers in their cars and they're fucking shiny chrome like and these like all these people in this. By the way, uh Gohans doesn't know what color the morning is.
Yeah.
Because the entirety of like this like morning walk to work is like
Is orange.
bright orange.
Yeah. So
It's like-
what's fucked up too? What's fucked up too is that the initial sky shot with the helicopter is pretty blue, and then it like transitions to like a deep orange, which
Yeah.
anyone who's ever seen anything recognizes. Oh, that's dusk. You
Yeah,
know,
that's
if
like
you're
a
going from
sunset.
like, yeah, that's the sunset. Like that's dusk. Dusk is deep orange. Like you start getting those deep oranges during dusk. And they're like, nope, actually, that's dawn, you stupid fuck. And it's like, no, that's not how this goes. That's not how this works. Like dawn is some very always like a lightish blue. Like, first of all, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's just how the sun's fucking rays work to begin with. With like the color spectrum.
I mean, if you're talking about like the absolute crack of dawn, you might get some orange clouds.
You'll get like some
as
orange as like the sun rises.
Yeah, but
But
once
like
the
the sun
is
doesn't
up,
rise for fucking like 3 hours.
yeah,
The
like
problem is with that shot, it's like, because I watched it too. There's a lot of shadows in it. It's like the orange is
Yeah.
there, and for some
Yeah,
reason
I
there's a
noticed
lot
that
of
too.
shadows in the
they're
like
very
there's lots of
long
trees.
cascading shadows.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like
Also,
that's not.
It looks like sunset, but it's supposed to be the crack of dawn.
Also, I
Yeah,
can
which also
forgive,
doesn't
like,
make much sense because the next morning the main character is leaving at like fucking 8:50 in the morning,
Yeah.
which is not
Another
dawn.
thing-
That's never
it
dawn.
kind of reminds
as
me.
a matter of fact.
Like what these remind me. This discussion reminds me of. It kind of reminds me of when people sometimes talk about bad shaders in video games. It's like with that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the
I was
color-
like,
the colors like
I
the
was
color
genuinely
like tone
confused.
in this opening is genuinely baffling. Like it's not even consistent. It's
Yeah,
very
and
strange.
and I was obscenely confused
the most
because it's
egregious
like
thing.
again like that doesn't really happen to me. Where like I'm like confused. Like I was actually thrown for a loop. I was like, wait, this is dusk. What the fuck is going on? Does she work at like a night off? Like what the fuck? Like what are they talking about? Like what is this series? And then they cut and it's like no, that was the morning. And I'm like, okay. It's like I guess.
The most egregious thing about this is that you can kind of write off, like if you really want to like stretch it, you can kind of write off like, oh, all these office workers have to go in at like the crack of dawn just to go to their jobs. But you also see children, like elementary school children, walking around at
Yeah,
the
it's like
same
people
time of
going to
day.
school, so it's
And
like
it's
supposed to be
like,
like
that's
it's like, bro, this
not,
is not like 7 a.m. Like this is
Yeah.
not what 7 a.m. looks like.
yeah, that's when you can tell they definitely got the coloring wrong.
Yeah, it's like this is not like 7, this is not 8. Like what the fuck is this? So yeah, it was like absurdly weird. Yeah, and then as far as like color goes, like once they get to the office, there's like this weird gray
Yeah.
green to it, which
The
is
office is
also
colored
It's very
weird.
strange. It's like
yeah,
gray,
I
green,
understand
and purple
why.
at the same
Yeah,
time.
I understand why they were like doing that to make it like this really weird, like oh, it's the office. But it's like, nah, man. Like, nah. This just kind of gets a little old. Like, this gets a little tired. Especially contrasted with the character getting back to her house, and
Yeah, yeah,
her apartment is normal. Like,
yeah. That's
it is
weird.
just normal. It's like, wow, okay, we got a little breather from like the Fallout 3 filter. Thank you so much. Like, it's like I'm very glad. So it is a very visually like those first 5 minutes especially though is very tiring. There's like oh yeah, there's also a weird like worm eye shot. I'll pull up some of these right now. I should be able to.
Tark, you love that fridge
Um,
shot. I love that fridge shot.
there's this shot of a character, like a worm eye view shot from behind of a character walking through the office, which has one of the
Yeah, this
worst
shot's
walk cycles.
crazy.
The weird leg shot. Yeah, that was.
Yeah,
I don't get that.
very the most insane like walking posture you've ever seen. It just looks very bad because again, how in the world were you ever gonna make this look good? Even if you rotoscoped someone walking like this would probably still look fucking like ridiculous because this is just a ridiculous angle to see.
Yeah, it's
Like,
just such
this
an
is just
insane frame.
alien,
Like,
like
there's
an
Why
no
would you do
alien
this?
angle to
There's
the
yeah,
human
no
eye.
Yeah,
re-
there's
this
no
is- this is
reason at
great.
all to shoot something like this ever. Like,
Yeah.
there's
Well,
no
no human
there's
ever
no-
sees
there's
this.
no, like-
you never would see this.
there's nothing there's it's like, what are you trying to convey with this frame? You know what I mean? Like, what are you trying to, because you
Yeah,
have
this
to be
is-
trying to do something with a shot like this, right? There's no
This
there-
is like the
you don't
shot
just
of an.
do-
This is like the opening shot of an office shooting about to happen. That's what like
Yeah,
this
like,
is.
there's
And it's
no
like, this is just
there's no
someone
reason
walking.
to shoot something like this unless you're trying to like convey a feeling or tone or a
Of
theme
unease,
or
like-
something, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But there's none of that here, right? It's just like, this is the way that we framed this shot because I storyboarded it like this, and I'm fucking insane. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
like because fuck you, I thought this was gonna look cool, and you're gonna do it. It's like, no.
And right after that, like a few seconds later, with some random guy walking in.
Yeah, he's
Also,
like tilted like
Yeah, he's
40
walking at an
degrees.
angle.
Yeah,
It's weird.
Yeah, there's Dutch angles all over the place here. It's fucking bizarre. Like, there should not this should not be happening. Again, it is very unsettling to be having these angles, and then the series is just like, yeah, no, it's just a slice of life series. So this shares a director with Tsukimega too. This is the same exact director, and obviously you can tell. And honestly, like, I don't know if it is just this director or not, but like, this director definitely probably needs like some kind of wake up call, or like someone to check him and be like, dude, like, different series like get different directing. Like, you have to direct it a different way. Like, you can't direct the slice of life cozy series like this is a fucking thriller action series, because it just is confusing and
Yeah,
like
it's
odd.
just psychotic.
Yeah, so that's like another big thing with this. Let me see if I can find some other shots. Yeah,
With the
there's
fridge shot,
like
the
this
weird-ass
as
fridge
well.
shot.
I don't have the weird ass fridge shot,
Because
unfortunately.
it's like, oh, it's gyoza, but then they're zooming in, and it's like, what?
Yeah,
Are you talking about,
I
are you talking about
understand,
the
like,
shot that's like inside of the fridge?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
I
from the
understand
back
like
of the fridge, and then they're
why.
zooming in.
Yeah,
I don't get
I
it.
mean, that's like that's like something that does happen, like in certain things. That is definitely probably one of the least egregious shots, because you can understand why they would do a like reverse shot from inside of a fridge when a character is like
Yeah.
checking to open it and sees like something in there that's like nice, like that they want. But it was still a little weird. I think weirder than that is that there is a first person shot while she's entering her unlit apartment, which again, but also this is where, like, again, Gohan's like needs to also learn their limitations, because for some reason the camera is stable as fuck, and it looks like a Doom 2006 level of like, here is
Head bob.
first person cam.
Yeah.
There's like no head bob. That's like one of the issues.
There's a little bit.
There's
a little
very
bit, but it's very
little.
it's very
very
static.
stable.
You know what I mean?
It's a very stable shot, and it's like, this is odd. Well, also again though, like first person shots in this context is also strange. Like this again looks like something's gonna jump out at you, right? Like we are not playing fucking like House of the Dead. We don't need this shot. Like she's just coming home from work.
I mean,
It's not-
I know why they did a shot. Like, I don't know why they did that shot. I know why they did like a shot to fill time like that, because they were like, oh, like sort of keeping the, I guess, reveal of the giant cat off until, she says the line like, my cat's not a normal cat, right? But yeah, I don't know why they needed to do the like, because there are some relatively clever shots in that like specific scene of like the cat reveal, right, where they play with the camera angle and stuff. But yeah, I don't know what the purpose of the
but it also
first-person
it didn't need to
is.
be first person. Like
Yeah,
like you could have had her just going through her house normally, her
there's just no
apartment,
reason
and
for
like
it.
turning on her light and being like, oh man, he turned off the lights again. Like yeah, so that it's just a lot of like, I see you have ideas, and
But they're not good ones.
they're not good ones, and you need someone to check you and be like, this is not appropriate. Like this is not an appropriate time to be doing this. Which again is very unfortunate, because I should also get to, I think that a lot of the character art in this series is quite nice. I think some of the shots are quite nice. I think a shot specifically when she is at home drinking and eating dinner, and she like chugs her drink and slams it down. There is a lot of like, it's a very what do you call it, like high FOV like shot where there's a lot of foreshortening on it, and I think it's a very dynamic and very good looking shot. Like I think that was an idea that they had that was executed very well, and was very, very appropriately used. And so you can tell that there are like trappings here where you're like, okay, I see what you've got going on here, and I think that you're on like, essentially like you're on the right, your heart's in the right place, but you're doing the most, and you need to not be doing the most. You need to stop.
Again,
You
I
need
think
to-
it's
Yeah,
just
exactly.
whoever is storyboarding this, both of these series, like two of these series, because both this and
the series pretty
Tsukimega,
much have like the same issues.
they have effectively the same core cast shared between them, or staff rather. So whoever is storyboarding both this Masterful Cat and Tsukimega is insane. Like they are genuinely insane. I don't know if they just straight up don't understand like how a scene is supposed to flow, or like what, but it's very clear that the director is sort of giving the animators and the staff these shots, and is like, do it, and they're like,
Yeah, this is this is a
okay.
very direction. This is direction.
yeah, they're like,
100%.
okay, we'll do it, we'll do our best with it, like that, that scene where she's chugging the beer, right? Like that scene is really only like as effective as it is because of the animators. You know what I mean? Like the way the
Yeah,
camera
yeah,
like
exactly.
whips around after she chugs the beer and swings her hand around, like it's not good.
Yeah.
I don't know whose decision that was, but like if the camera was largely static, or even did a
it would look
slower
better.
pan, like if it did a slower pan towards the cat as she, asked for more beer, it would just be a much better scene. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it whips around erratically, and it's like it just hurts your eyes. You know what I mean? And yeah, whoever is like storyboarding this and directing this is just like genuinely psychotic. And obviously the animators are doing the best that they can with what they're given. And I do think they're doing a good job with this one as well. I think a lot of the animation and you know, the color palette for this series is a lot more tolerable, I think, when she's at her house. I will clarify. I think
Yeah, when she's in the
when she's
office,
at the
like,
office, it's still like
this is weird.
it's like when she's at the office, I feel like it literally gives the vibes of like I don't want to breathe this air. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
Smog returns.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's fucked
it
up.
it feels like this is a super like sterile if you've ever if you've ever turned on a like have you ever replaced a normal warm house light that you have with like or accidentally bought like a bright white light
Yeah, the
bulb?
pure white light bulbs.
You will be like you turn that on and you feel unsettled. You're like, oh,
Yeah,
this
like
is
you're in a different house.
like this is not good. I don't want to be here anymore. And
But I
yeah,
love
so like
hospital
that stuff,
lights.
it's just very strange. It's like you should not. Well, actually, I mean, in some cases, like hospital hall lights, in a lot of cases, are actually warmer. Like,
Yeah.
there are bright fucking white lights you can buy that are like, I don't even honestly know where they're used. But yeah, it's literally like they're doing too much, and the problem is not like with the animators, like very clearly like they can do good work. They can work with what they have and like make it at least like, you know, bearable. Um so it would just be nice if whoever is essentially throwing these wrenches in the works were not doing that anymore. Would stop doing that. Would learn that like, you know, not every fucking shot you're about to do needs to have like this insane levels of I guess what would you call dynamicness to it? Like it could just be a regular ass like shot.
Yeah.
You don't need to be doing all this.
I think you mean cinematic.
Yeah, it's very cinematic. I love it. I love when we just throw a weird color grading like fucking reshade over our show and make it very cinematic. So yeah, it's a shame. It's a big shame because voice performance is very good. Like I said, a lot of the character designs and character art are very nice, very fine. In scenes, it's okay. There are some cuts and some shots that look very good. But this thing is, it's essentially like I was saying, like a lot of this is looking the way it is despite despite every effort by whoever's storyboarding or fucking
Yeah.
you know or directing this, and by whoever I mean Susumu Kudo, who is again the director for both of these series, and it shows. So it's yeah, I don't know.
But Doug,
I wish they would not do this, and I do hope it gets toned down. I don't really have much hopes as
I feel
far
like
as
it will as the
the
series
the
goes
shots
on.
will definitely
They'll
get
sort of
toned
just
down
fall
because
into it.
like again like outside of the first 5 minutes it's like bearable, right? The first 5 minutes are genuinely difficult to get through because like you're starting to get a headache. Like that's why I literally put in our chat, you know, like this is just like all of these shots, like this is just way too dank. Like what the fuck is going on right now? Like I'm literally like getting tired watching this because of like, you know, how much shit I'm being like exposed to right now just to show a shot of like going to work, you know. But I do hope that somehow like a lot of the color grading stuff gets better in the later episodes. I don't really have like much of a hope for that, but I do believe the shot like compositional will fucking calm down because it largely does in the first episode after that opening. And again, as we said with Suki Mega, it turns into a very enjoyable, very cozy like slice of life series. The cat reactions are very fun. Maybe reading this might also be like a decent idea just because I have seen some of the panels from it and they do look very cozy and it is kind of giving you a lot of what you would get out of this anyway without a lot of the issues that it has so far.
Right, right, right.
But unfortunately that does also mean that you lose out on like hearing, Hiroki Yasumoto.
Yeah, dude, the cat and
So
voiceover.
you do lose there.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's just very unfortunate. I will clown on Gohans for this shit. Because it's funny and because it's fun.
But it's not
But
that bad.
I don't. I mean, it is. The first 5 minutes is definitely
Well,
that
yeah,
bad. It's very much that bad. Um, but it's not like it's falling on its face throughout the entire show. And I think they have a core here that'll definitely work. I think this will definitely be something I'll stick with. And I hope that they can kind of learn. I hope that they are very aware of what people are like having gripes with. I think maybe these two series will be sort of the wake up call, if that makes sense. Because I think maybe before with like handshakers and with shit like K and stuff like that, I feel like maybe a lot of that like didn't come through because uh, I don't know, like if that like vibe makes sense of like the since like those series were very action oriented and very like or like mystery and shit like that, there were obviously complaints, but I feel like a lot of people were not nearly as like shocked and aware of what exactly was fucked up with these visuals as they are with something like this being like a slice of life series getting this treatment and feeling very off. I feel like a lot of people are now going to be a lot more aware of how to describe the issues they have with what they're seeing.
Right,
On top
right,
of these
right.
being otherwise very enjoyable series and having, occasions or not occasions, but like sequences of a very good animation, very good visuals coming up too. And then
Hmm.
contrasting that with like, what they saw in the first 5 minutes. So I'm hoping that happens. And I'm
Yeah,
hoping
it's
that
it's
they don't
very
get clowned
unfortunate
on,
because yeah,
super, super hard while people not recognizing that, there is a core here that can work.
mhm. Yeah, a little bit unfortunate, but
But Dark, what's the deal with the cooking show?
Oh shit. I never even got into that. Yeah, so Near I don't
Yeah.
even know if Near mentioned that. There is a forest shot in
No,
Suki
I
Mega
didn't.
that has like a real forest
Ugh.
that was in the
Ugh.
slideshow. There's like
Yes,
live footage.
yes.
So this series now also has a cooking show that the cat watches, and it is live footage that is heavily filtered and like with half
Yeah.
frame rate, like with frame rate like bumped down to like 12 frames per second or something, or 24 at most. And it looks that way. It looks like the scene from oh my god, what was that series I covered? Uh it's the tractor scene from,
Kaminaki?
yeah, from Kaminaki.
Yeah.
It's literally just that same exact effect.
Yes, same filter.
It's the same
That
filter.
filter, yeah, that
uh
filter's on the trees in
What is it?
Tsukimiga as well, by the way.
Yeah, and so now like they do it here with this. This scene is not See, I thought that this was funny, and this is the
I mean,
problem that comes up with this
What
type
thing
of
is,
AI
series is that
generated?
it's on the TV, right? So you can sort
this
of
would be inoffensive in this context if it wasn't for that opening 5 minutes of being like if this was a normal show, if Gohan's decided to be fucking normal, and this was a normal shot show, and wasn't driving me insane in the first 5 minutes, then this would just be kind of endearing. This would be like silly,
yeah,
like,
it
oh,
would be
I
like a
see,
little
like I see
gag.
what you did, like,
Yeah,
like
like
yeah,
it's on the
like fair
TV.
enough, like it's on the
Yeah.
TV. It's not your entire background in Tsukimeka, which I think is a little bit less excusable,
Yeah, that shot is insane.
but yeah, like this would be largely, inoffensive. I guess in that way, it kind of is very similar to Kaminaki, where in Kaminaki, that tractor scene would be a funny gag if it wasn't for like the rest of the show being so fucked up. Like, so that is another unfortunate happening. But yeah, overall, I'm gonna be sticking with this series. I'm gonna see what Gohans can do. I'm gonna see. Well, no, I don't want to see what they can do. Actually, I should rephrase that.
I mean,
I'm
we've
gonna see.
seen what they can do.
I'm gonna see. I'm gonna see what Gohans does. I don't want to see what they can do. I never want to see what they can do. I really hope that they stop asking themselves what they can do and just kind of, it's weird. Like, I genuinely feel like if Gohan's just decided, like, whoever was doing this was like, we should just phone this in. We should just phone this shit in. It would wind up being one of the better looking series, like, every season. Like, I genuinely think that at this point, after seeing Suki Mega and being like, oh, these normal scenes look really good. If you didn't spend the time and effort to make these really wild, fucked up scenes, this would be even better. Especially because, again, not to, like, it's definitely worth reiterating and driving home. It's not even just that these scenes look fucked up. They're hard to do. Like they're literally wasting time and effort to do these shots when they could just put that time and effort elsewhere and make the show look even better. So that's kind of like the biggest unfortunate aspect of this to me. Is that, again, you're doing too much and you're kind of just like burning yourselves out for zero gains.
Right, exactly. It's again, I don't know where the staff's gonna go. Maybe they're gonna do more case stuff down the road, especially after this season where they try to do Guns Akimbo with both series being produced by essentially the same people, right? Or the same producer at least. Or excuse me, the director. But I don't know. I hope that they take
Yeah,
whatever
and I
feedback
mean that's another thing too, where it's like that is also impressive that they are doing that with shows that outside of their like ambitious idea shots look pretty solid, look good even. I just do really hope that they do hear fair feedback and criticism and actually like take that on. And like I said before, I hope that these being slice of life series kind of is a wake up call to that in that regard, being that, like, I could see someone not ignoring feedback or like not like exactly getting feedback like this with an action series, because it's a little bit less tangible, because you could be like, oh, it's super busy, or oh, it's like way too fast. It's like, oh, well, it's an action series, like that'll happen sometimes. Whereas like here it's like, no, this should never be, this is not a conversation that should ever come up in a fucking slice of life series, more or
Yeah,
less.
exactly. Like,
And
just
so I hope,
be normal, guys. Be normal.
yeah, just be fucking normal, and you will literally make some of the best looking fucking slice of life series on the market.
Yeah, you will. It'll probably be definitely it'll kind of be almost orange level where people will be like, wait, these guys are making slice of life series like this with like a smaller studio. Why isn't everybody else doing that? And it'll be that sort of flow. But really, I
Yeah,
mean,
because again,
just
like
give me more.
I mean, like I think Suki Mega overall looks way better, especially with
Mhm.
character design, like character art than this series. But I think this series' characters in motion and stuff are pretty good. Like
Right, right.
I don't think these are bad looking. And if they just stop like filtering things super hard as far as like lighting and like color grading goes, and just again did normal shots in lieu of whatever ideas they have, then they would legitimately be one of the best. Like, I think without those shots in Suki Mega, especially, like, we would be, and with better color, like color grading, or just without whatever filters they're using, I think we would probably be having a discussion in certain scenarios of this being like a Hyoka tier, like visuals going on here. Or, well, not tier, but like sub, and giving off even more vibes to that. On top of them doing two series at the same time. So, you know, the future is going to be interesting for the studio for sure.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it, and I hope. How do I say this? I hope they don't sink back into the K project money and just become like whatever. And I do hope that it becomes like they kind of branch out into other stuff and become a much better studio for it.
Yeah, yeah,
We'll
it would be cool. It would be cool to see like Gohans become like a learn these lessons and then become a like higher tier um general studio in that sense, where like maybe they'll do action, and then from time to time it's like, oh, Gohans will do a really shiny slice of life series. That would be, I feel like that would be the like best possible outcome for this.
You're right. Okay. Any last words? Any scores that you want to give it? Whatever.
I think its mall score is pretty fair. Its mall score right now is a 7.45. Um, I think a 7, is fair. I
Mhm.
think I think its content is far sort of outpacing its what would you call it? Its content is basically like outpacing its
Visuals.
or rather its premise and its yeah, it's outpacing the issues that it has. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
I
Right.
think I would say the same case for Suki Mega, where the series itself, once, like Nier said, once you get past that hump in the beginning, and as long as they kind of like stop doing that continuously, I think you have like a very good watchable series that will have some very good stuff for you to go through. So I think 7 is fair.
Okay. So thank you, Dark. I guess again, this was the sort of, I wouldn't say unfortunate, but the interesting for sure. Second part of the Go Hands duo like main
I mean,
series this time
I
around.
think unfortunate. I think unfortunate's fair because it is.
Unfortunate.
It's not
Right.
unfortunate in the sense of the series as a whole is unfortunate. It's just it's unfortunate.
It could have a little bit better polish, is what you're saying.
No, no, that is the last thing you
Less
would probably
polish.
want to
Yeah,
tell Gohans.
less polish
Less
actually.
polish, way less polish. Again, stop
Yeah.
trying. Phone it
Take
in.
off
Let's
the
see what
gloss.
happens.
Yeah, exactly. Just make it dirt like plain and see what goes on. Yeah, exactly. So this is again the second series by Gohan's direction or production rather. The other one being Suki Mega. It is The Masterful Cat is Depressed Again Today, manga original, also known as Dekiru Neko wa Kyou mo Yutsu. So please do check it out if you are interested.